And now we're going to move on to, I guess, what could have been a Nintendo game, but
Ooh.
didn't it didn't quite make the bill. Um, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. That's what it's called, right?
Yep, that's the
Okay.
one.
So this is a uh, technically a follow up to Yooka-Laylee, which was a game that came out a couple years ago that was trying to pull on the nostalgia of Banjo Kazooie.
Yeah,
To, in my opinion, not very great success.
that
I
would
like
be a
Banjo
correct
Kazooie.
opinion.
I like
That
Banjo
would be
Kazooie.
correct.
Is one
Yeah.
of my favorite games. Um,
Mm.
and what this what Yooka-Laylee took from Banjo Kazooie was kind of all of the wrong things. Like the things that were cool
Mm.
about Banjo Kazooie was the progression through the levels, going through the level. It's like kind of like Mario 64, where you go into each individual level, um, from a hub area, and you just kind of explore. And it's a collectathon, so you're collecting all sorts of different stuff. What
Mm.
Yooka-Laylee did was take all of the like old fashioned camera design and move set and all the kind of like frustrating things of playing an old game like that, but then
Mm.
also added this weird system of collecting these book pages to expand each level, as opposed to you go through and you collect 100% on it and then you move on to the next one. And it just didn't that 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 just didn't work for me in that game. But this is a completely kind of different approach to Yooka-Laylee, which is like some 2D and some like top down overworld. What's going on with this, Leigh? Because it's quite a bit different than what the first game was.
Yeah. So, what you just said there about ukulele being kind of a throwback to banjo.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out that actually the ukulele series was a throwback to Rare overall.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas that kind of because they span the era of being 16-bit and then moving into the 32 bits, like into Nintendo 64. So
Yeah.
they came from that kind of that kind of pixel perfect 2D gameplay that's really solid to something 3D that kind of doesn't work because you haven't got that precision with the
Mm-hmm.
platforming or whatever, so it doesn't work. So this is more along the lines of their work on the Donkey Kong games, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
If
like
you ever played
Donkey
the
Kong
Donkey Kongs,
Country.
the old ones,
Yeah.
yeah, Donkey Kong Country, yeah.
Yeah,
So
they
it's
just
all
put out that Tropical Freeze re-release on the Switch.
which isn't very good. It was never good. Um, well, this that obviously takes to that with a little mixture of like Yoshi's Island with your Laylee on your and you kind of you're zipping in and using things in the environment to pull in to use as projectiles along alongside your kind of your typical bounce on the head platform and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, it's got a lot of that going on. It's kind of the sort of concept is you're going after the what's the villain's name? Capital B, I think he was called, something like that.
Yeah,
Who
capital
trapped
B.
all the bees in the level. And you start off, and the first thing you do in the side scroller is it throws you into something called the Impossible Lair,
Mm-hmm.
which is the last level of the game,
Mm-hmm.
and you get absolutely monstered within the first kind of 5 seconds. It is impossible to play the
Well, it's the
last level.
Impossible Lair.
Yeah, well, yes, and then it throws you in and shows you what you have to do. So
Yeah.
within the game, the idea is going through these kind of um, Donkey Kong Country esque levels is collect bees within the level, which give every bee you collect gives you
Mm-hmm.
an extra hit point. And there's like something like
Okay.
50, 60 bees in the game. So you've got to
Oh,
go through
okay.
there. Yeah, so kind of, and you can do that by kind of your speed roll, and you can break different parts of the level to find secrets. Also, it kind of takes that thing as well, like I say, from the banjo thing. collectibles. You know, you have these things called quills that you pick up that you could use as money.
Yeah, that was
Quills
in the
everywhere.
first game.
Yeah, but it works a lot better on this because it can obviously it really kind of really refines a 2D thing. So yeah, of course you can spit in and use your barrel to throw things and change the levels with the things you can punch for the projectiles you use. It's really, really good. Really good. If you like platforms from that era and you
So
like
like
them done really well.
just to connect that original thing you were talking about with the impossible lair, the goal is to get these bees so then you can go into that impossible lair and take more hits.
You can take the hits.
Yeah.
You can take the hits because, you know, although there's this thing that kind of if you start a new save, you to get everything 100%, you have to complete the impossible layer first time. Once you know how the game works, so you can get through it. You can have to do the whole thing with no hits, which is a bit of a bugger. It's tough. There's so much going on in this. The controls are really what make it. The controls are just they're mint. They're so kind of precise and tight.
Okay, so you're not fighting controls.
Yeah, because that's what you didn't really get with Donkey Kong. It was always a little bit too heavy. It was always kind of a little bit of a weird center of gravity. This he's not too light. He's not too heavy. Kind of, he's got just about the right amount of kind of control of jump and stuff like that. So it really works like that. You climb ropes and stuff with him, and he's really pliable. The controls are that good. It's fun to use him underwater. And that never happens in platform games. You actually enjoy swimming.
Yeah.
And so you get to the hub, like you were saying. Hub is top down. It's much wider than you think it is. It's kind of, and within it, it's almost its own game. It's little things you find within the thing, puzzles within this. It's kind of like a mini Link's Adventure. So it's also got like a mini Zelda within this platform game. Like old school top-down Zelda with all these different things. Oh, and also there's things you find out that when you do puzzles within this, you can change all the levels that you go into within the game, and they have a completely different second layout, so you can play everything twice and not do the same thing. There's so many things going on. With the quills, you buy potions, and you can add 3 of these potions to your character that change things. It's like a risk and reward thing. So you'll get a good thing, like you get extra hits for yourself. But your multiplier of quills, which is your money, drops by a few percent. So you kind of, it makes it easier for you, but you lose out on that. Or if you kind of, enemies take more hits to kill, you'll get a bonus amount of quills. Like an extra point, like ×3 on your quills. But that also works out because the more you think that's a detriment to have more hits on an enemy, but of course you can rebound off enemies. And the more enemy can rebound off more than once, you can reach other secret areas and stuff like that. So you just keep going with the exploration and the kind of finding stuff and the coins and this and that and the other.
Yeah.
And there's also these other tonics that change the palettes of the things you're in. So kind of you have different palettes and you can change the way your gameplay. You can mix three of these tonics, and you can play the game upside down, back to front with Game Boy resolution and color. And I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it. It's a really good game. It's really fucking good. It's I'm really surprised by it. It's kind of one of the best games Nintendo never made, and I don't do hyperbole that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of it's from that classic era, and it's kind of with all the things ironed out that they've learned along the way.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that they kind of did the opposite with what they did with Yooka-Laylee, the first game, where they refined the gameplay and stuff like that, but they kind of kept the old like design of it, you know. I mean, obviously there's difference in the designs, but like it's still that 2D kind of platformer that you're talking about, but where they kind of missed the mark with Yooka-Laylee. They kind of nailed it here. Yeah, I'm really interested in picking it up. I don't think I'm going to do it right away, but it seems like a game that I would really enjoy playing.
Really nice graphics as well. Really nice use of color and variety within the levels. The music is oh my god, the music! Oh lord, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, the first game had that down. The music and the look was pretty spot on. So that doesn't surprise me that they nailed that again the second time.
Yeah. Well, like you said earlier, that probably Outer Worlds is going on your list of good games this year. Or Outer Worlds is on mine as well. This was probably on it as well.
Yeah.
It's that good of a platformer. I absolutely love it. It's one of the best platformers I've played in years. It's so kind of well crafted, intricately crafted.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it to anyone that likes that sort of stuff and really calls back to that kind of early rare type of great gameplay. Yeah, excellent.
You're playing it on Xbox?
I am. It's available on everything, though, even PC.
Yeah, it is. It's on PC, Switch, PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
It's another Team 17 joint.
Yeah.
Publisher.
Yeah.
So that was Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. 2 big thumbs up from Leigh. Thank you for joining us on this very special episode of Voxel Viewpoint. If you'd like to hear or see more, please consider subscribing to us on your favorite podcast app, subscribing to us on YouTube, or visiting voxelvoice.com, where all of our great content comes together in one place. Also check out the Voxel Voice Facebook group, where you can join in on the discussion with a great, like-minded community.